St. Ben's and St. John's of the future are going to be different places from what they are now, and certainly from what they were when I was a student. But somehow still making those experiences of the people from the past available to people in the present, make them realize what a heritage we have here and how people learned in the past and how you can continue to learn in the future. My name's Peggy Roske. My title now is archivist, but for about 20-some years I was one of the reference librarians. And I've been here, well, employed here on campus for a little over 45 years. Started in the fall of '79 at Elkland Library as a paraprofessional. And then I went off to library school, came back, and librarianship, and then archives. My mom was from St. Joe. I had relatives in St. Joe. I even had a couple of relatives in the convent at St. Ben's. And so we would frequent St. Joe when I was a kid. And then my sister went to St. Ben's High School, as had my mother. And then I followed her, and then I likewise followed her to college and met my husband, who was a native Collegevillian, and discovered librarianship and happened to get a position, and the rest is history, as they say. Oh, things that I've enjoyed doing immensely were things like exploring the maps and the features of Lake Sag, the things that I found in the archives that were like, oh, this is cool. Figuring out where Indian bush had been and having the nails to prove it. That was really a fun thing to do. Coming to a better understanding of the Benedictines and their history with the native peoples, and even just the history of indigenous peoples here and elsewhere, was an important thing for me. So those kinds of learning opportunities that my positions have provided for me have been gratifying over the years. I was really blessed in my career with the timely, what I call the timely convergence of technological advances. I mean, I had gone to library school to learn how to be a librarian, and at that point you used encyclopedias and reference books. But even then there was this, there was a class on database searching, and forward-thinking people who wrote things about some kind of technology that would make information available to people, which we couldn't really even fathom at the time, but it didn't take too long before the World Wide Web came along and made all that a reality. So I've had the virtue of being able to find information more easily, find it for other people, make it more visual and understandable. And then working at these institutions that value their history is important to preserve for posterity. I will miss the career in which I got to ask interesting questions, and I got to pursue my own curiosity sometimes and then share what I learned. And I felt needed and appreciated. And in some realms of my life that may continue, but it won't be the same. And I'll miss just being on campus. The space is pretty wonderful. Maybe not so much in the winter, but I know it's kind of what's the word? Standard response, but I will miss the sense of community, being a part of and being valued by something important, the educational and spiritual enterprise that are St. Ben, St. John's, and the Abbey and the monastery. That I will miss. And I have to give lots of kudos to the libraries, the library staff, my colleagues. And then there's the colleagues who mentored me and preceded me into retirement. I mean, I learned so much from all of those people about how to do my job well and the right attitude, the right sensibility. And last but not least, my Collegeville-born and educated spouse, Michael, my philosophy major turned fine woodworker and former manager of the Abbey woodworking department, who taught me that figuring out how to live was more important than figuring out how to make a living. And we somehow managed to do both fairly well, I think, and raised some pretty wonderful little humans along the way. We both have had rewarding careers, if unexpected. I have to express my gratitude. I'm so grateful to have worked in a place that values diversity and equity and fosters understanding of those that are different from ourselves, and a place that promotes social justice and provides opportunities for people to be involved in all those sorts of endeavors. I would like to see the archives here continue on the path of making history transparent and readily available to people. As you can tell, I'm a proponent of lifelong learning and most of the time a practitioner of it. The sheer beauty and joy of learning and educating yourself for whatever you choose to do with it in the future, but just to be able to educate yourself. There's so much wealth in that regard in these two institutions and in these two archives.